Dallas police say they've arrested the man who shot an Arlington police officer working undercover early yesterday morning. Edgar Solorzano is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and drug crimes. He's still being questioned by detectives before being transferred to jail. Fox 4 Sean Rebb live outside the Dallas Police Department. Sean, you've got details about evidence in this case.
Right, Clarice. These two arrest affidavits, in fact, detail what we did not learn from police today. These affidavits tell us how, as officers were investigating the shooting incident, that the focus turned then to Edgar Solorzano and how they were able to connect him to the crime and able to charge him.
This is the man, Edgar Solorzano, from a previous arrest, who police say opened fire on an Arlington officer working undercover in a federal task force. The bullet-battered pickup the undercovers were in shows how close this incident came to a tragic ending.
There was a very brief verbal exchange, at which point Edgar immediately opened fire on the officer who was trying to run away. He continued firing at the officer as the officer fled, and then got into that pickup where he continued firing at the officer.
This house, 2720 Wilbur, is where it unfolded.
¿Cómo los conoce?
No sé qué pasó.
You know Mr. Solorzano?
¿Conoce a Solorzano?
A woman leaving that address said she didn't know what happened Thursday, but did say she knew Edgar Solorzano, though she would not detail their relationship. Court documents tell us what happened at 6:15 a.m. Thursday. The officer trying to place a tracking device on a vehicle parked at that address. A Latin male armed with an assault rifle appeared from across the street and confronted the officer. The suspect began to shoot at the complainant as he ran from the location. The suspect followed the complainant, firing at him as he jumped into one of the covert vehicles. Solorzano did not know he was shooting at an officer at the time, and Texas law allows a person to protect property, even someone else's, especially at night.
Because we filed these charges and because of the information discovered during the investigation thus far, we don't believe that applies in this situation.
As police investigated the shooting, Edgar Solorzano's name was dropped. He lives across the street at 2717 Wilbur. No one answered our door knock. His father led federal agents in the home, and seeing what appeared to be tools of the drug trade, a search warrant for that address was secured, executed early Friday morning. DPD narcotics officers found 8.9 grams of meth, the document says, 3 guns, 1 stolen, several hundred rounds of ammunition, and an assault rifle hidden between the rafters in the roof. That weapon recently fired, and that's how detectives linked Solorzano to the shooting of the officer.
And he's charged tonight now with possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute, also charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Important to note, Solorzano was not the focus of that federal investigation, but his actions brought police to his house where they discovered a whole lot more. Clarice?
Okay, but Sean, 2 questions. Why isn't the charge higher since the offense was against a police officer? And what do you know about the drug investigation that brought the undercover officers to that house?
Okay, first things first, the charge is not assault on a peace officer because at no time did the undercover officer identify himself as law enforcement. Solorzano clearly did not know that. As for the investigation itself, we know very little from authorities, but what we can tell you is that if they were attempting to place a tracking device on a vehicle, they were still in the middle of their investigation. They had cast a net, and it was perhaps expanding. Federal investigations like this with the multi-jurisdictional task force takes time. They weren't ready to collapse that net and draw it up just yet, but they had to do that. So we expect that there will be additional arrests coming, but they were in the middle of this investigation. Clearly not small-time dope dealers, but perhaps a conspiracy to distribute on a fairly large level that brought federal interest, Clarice.
All right, Sean Rebb live at DPD. Thank you.